Shalom Aleichem. Today in Mishnah Yomi land, well, it's Rosh Chodesh Adar, and it's Erev Shabbat Truma, and we just started chapter 5 of Shevuot yesterday about Shevuot HaPikadon, an oath taken when there was an item deposited and someone is claiming his deposit back. So let's get right into Mishnah Bet, which explains what's going on here. Shevuot HaPikadon Keitzad. What is the situation of an oath about a deposit, where if somebody swore falsely, they need to bring a korban and pay for violating this oath. Amar lo, someone said, Ten li pikdoni sheshi biyodcha. Reuven tells Shimon, give me the item back that I deposited in your safekeeping. And Shimon answers him, Shvua she'ein lecho biyodi. I'm making an oath, you have nothing in my hands. I don't have anything of yours. Oh, she'amar lo, he tells him, ein lecho biyodi. You've got nothing with me. And then Reuven answers to that, Mashbiacha ani. Oh yeah, I'm making you swear, Amar Amen, and he says Amen. Again, we've seen in the last parak, this is an affirmation of an oath imposed by someone else. Hare ze chayev. He is obligated to bring an asham, and of course return the item if he swore falsely. Now, what if he swore more than once? He shbia olav chamisha pamim. The Mishnah brings a case. He had an oath, he swore an oath, or Reuven imposed an oath on him 5 separate times. Bein bifnei beitin, whether they were in court, bein shelo bifnei beitin, or they were not in court. V'kafar, and he denied every time. Chayev okol achat v'achat. He is liable for a korban on every single oath of denial. Rabbi Shimon explains, Matam, what's the reason he could be liable 5 times even in court? Remember, by the Shevuot Edut, if it was in court, they could only be liable for 1 oath in front of the court. But in this case, because in this case, the person holding the deposit could go back and admit he has the item and return it. Whereas in court, once they had testified about Shevuot Edut, once they testify, they're not believed in court to go back and change their testimony. In that case, the original testimony was that they didn't know any testimony, and they made an oath to that effect. Let's go on to Mishnah Gimel. Hayu chamisha tovin oto. There's 5 different people claiming a deposit from Shimon. Amru lo, Shimon tells and they tell Shimon, 10 li pikadon sheyesh lanu biyadcha. Give us each back the item we have by you. And he says, Shvua she'ein lechem biyadi. I'm making an oath that to all of you, I don't have anything belonging to any of you. Einu chayev ela achat. He's liable for 1 korban if this was a false oath, because he swore to everyone all at once. But if he said shvua she'ein lecha biyadi, v'lo lecha biyadi, v'lo lecha biyadi, if he stipulates to each person separately, chayev okol achat v'achat, then he would be liable for up to 5 separate offerings, because it's 5 separate oaths that he has violated. Rabbi Eliezer Omer, he qualifies this ruling a little bit. In his opinion, he says, Od sheyomar shvua b'achrona. He says that Shimon, the person denying having anything, he's only liable for separate offerings for violating more than 1 oath if he said shavua at the end. So he's saying, I don't have anything of you, and you, and you, and you, and you, I hereby swear. So in that case, Rabbi Eliezer said he would be liable, whereas the first opinion, the Chamim, is that even if he said, I swear I have nothing from you, or you, etc. Rabbi Shimon Omer, Rabbi Shimon disagrees with both of the prior opinions. He says he has to use the word shavua to each person. So Shimon would have to say, I'm making a shavua, I don't have anything by you, and also of you, I'm making a shavua, I don't have anything of yours, etc. Otherwise, according to Rabbi Shimon, it's just one big shvua with multiple interested parties. Finally, the Mishnah adds, 10 li pikdoni tzumet yad, give me back my deposit, and tzumet yad is something that's put in the hand, a loan, gozel, something you have stolen of mine, aveda, something I have lost, sheyesh li biyadcha, that you are holding on to it for me. You have items that belong to me that were, not in my possession through these various means. And here Shimon, the person supposedly holding everything, says, Shvua she'ein lecha biyadi. I'm making an oath that you have nothing in my hands. Eino chayev ela achat. He's liable for breach of 1 oath if he was lying. If he says, Shvua she'ein lecha biyadi pikadon, I don't have a deposit of yours, a tzumet yad, or a loan from you, ve'gozel, or a stolen item of yours, ve'aveda, or a lost item of yours. In this case, he specified different items. Chayev okol achat ve'achat. He could be liable 4 times. The Mishnah adds a similar case. Ten li chitin soy nekusmin sheyesh li biyodcha. Please give me the wheat, barley, and spelt that you're holding on to for me. And he says, Shvua she'ein lecha biyodi. Shimon answers, I'm making an oath that you have nothing in my hands. Einu chayev ela achat. He's liable once. It's one oath. But if he says, Shvua she'ein lecha biyodi chitin, usurin, ukusmin, I'm making an oath. I don't have your wheat. I don't have your barley. I don't have your spelt. Chayev o kol achat v'achat. He could be liable on every individual item he listed. Rabbi Meir adds an interesting linguistic fact here. He says, Afilu amar chita. Even he said one wheat, like wheat singular, which could mean one kernel of wheat. Or he says usura, one barley, kusemet, one spelt. Instead of just saying, chitin or chitim in the modern Ivrit, just, is like plural, like a lot of wheat. Here he's like saying one piece of wheat. Chayev okol achad v'achad. He could be liable for Shevuot on every single type of grain. The other sages say if he's saying one kernel of wheat, there'd be no liability because a kernel of wheat is not even worth a pruta. It's not a sheva pruta, so it's not subject to an oath unless in a sheva pruta it would not be subject to the asham, to the carbon, the offering, to atone for it. Rabbi Meir is saying that even sometimes you would refer to a big pile of wheat as just one wheat. You might just say chita instead of chitim, even though you're referring to a larger amount. Yashar kochachem, good Shabbos, good Chodesh.